We just had a very professional battle between two rivals, and now we are going to see a very personal war between enemies.
Referee Ben Barnett, the man in command in charge of this action.
Luke DISangro has said it is do or die tonight in his battle with Drew Gulak. The pressure is on. This is a man who has been suffering from a crisis of confidence. Is tonight the night he is able to overcome those inner voices of doubt and despair?
I've known Twitch a long time. You may get the best of him initially, but this man becomes obsessed with getting that victory. Seen him do it time and time again. You have every reason to believe in Twitch.
But there are extenuating circumstances surrounding this match. When it was originally announced that Luke DISangro was going to get his return match against Drew Gulak, we did not know that this would be the final night of the Monster Factory, that this would be the finale of our home promotion. Luke DISangro loves the Monster Factory like few do. This is a very, very emotional night for him. And are those emotions going to affect him and throw him off his game? Can he focus on Drew Gulak knowing he is losing his home?
You want to talk somebody that has history with this building. You want to talk about Drew freaking Gulak.
The lead trainer and founder of Catchpoint, not just a dojo, a movement, a style of professional wrestling. One of the most adept technicians in all of the wrestling world.
Absolutely, you cannot come into a match with Drew Gulak off your game, or you're going to find yourself twisted into a knot and tapping out. Hopefully Twitch has done his homework.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a grudge match. Introducing first, from Levittown, Pennsylvania, weighing 200 pounds, Lucas Twitch DISangro. His opponent, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing 215 pounds, he is the University City Stretcher, Drew Gulak.
Drew Gulak throwing up that catch point sign. If you give him a limb, he will rip it off your body.
We've seen that time and again, and no time wasted as Drew Gulak with a shotgun dropkick, sending DISangro into the bottom turnbuckle.
Drew Gulak is a sadist in the ring and looking to end this very, very quickly.
No patience on the part of Gulak as Twitch sending him into the ropes. Dropping down. Almost has Drew scouted. Oh, into a sunset flip from out of nowhere. And
a centimeter of a second away from victory.
DISangro almost had a very early night.
How devastating would it be for Luke DISangro to fall prey to Gulak in under a minute? He has said that his entire sense of identity hinges on him winning this match against Drew Gulak. What will it do to this man's psyche, his mental health, if he is dominated by the walking torture device?
Arm drag by DISangro. Off the rope, little springboard action, sending Gulak across the ring.
And DISangro has woken up.
Look at the tilt-a-whirl head scissors, sending the veteran flying to the outside of the ring.
Returning fire against the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion. Our former Monster Factory Champion is come running in a cannonball to the outside.
Onto that hard concrete. Just speaks to how badly DISangro wants to win this, that you would risk life and limb.
DISangro said the last time he faced Drew Gulak, he was unprepared. It was an impromptu match, and still it is stuck with him. That loss clearly left an indelible mark in this young man's mind, and he will do anything he has to repair that damage by getting a victory over Gulak.
Trying to send Gulak into the guardrail. Gulak reversed it. DISangro's back went into the guardrail.
Few men know this building from front to back like Drew Gulak. He used to sleep in this building. He used to live in this building. This is his home, and if anyone's going to be able to use the architecture of the ring and the ringside area, it's Gulak, and they are making their way up the ramp.
Oh no, they're dangerously close to our area over here, Jason, as Gulak is slamming DISangro's head into that stage ramp.
Gulak having his way with Luke DISangro, and this is purely to inflict punishment. You can't win on the outside. This is not false count anywhere.
Oh no! Gulak with a suplex on DISangro onto the ramp!
There's no padding. There's no give.
That is steel!
There is only a surface that will break a man's back and a bully who enjoys doing so. Drew Gulak is sadistic, and now looking potentially to get a count-out win.
And I think he found one of Pete's posse's hats at ringside.
Drew Gulak trying to take a count-out victory here over Luke DISangro. The crowd rooting DISangro on, hoping that he could get back into the ring. But has the damage been done? Is it too much? And no, DISangro in at the last moment.
That was a buzzer beater.
And it just shows that Gulak doesn't care how he gets the victory.
Oh no, a scoop slam, but DISangro's legs hit those ropes.
They're not ropes, aircraft cables to there that we wrap and we call ropes. You can break a leg, you can pull a ligament by hitting those ropes with that kind of force.
Absolutely merciless is Drew Gulak.
Gulak says he gets in the ring to see what his opponent's got. He wants to test them. We're going to find out if Luke DISangro can pass the test, and even if he can, what's it going to cost him from years on his career?
It's Gulak toying with DISangro, and that may be a mistake. Chops him right back down.
Gulak with the cover right there. And DISangro able to kick out, but it is taking so much out of DISangro just to kick out of pins, let alone to mount a comeback or significant offense.
Laying in the boots is Drew Gulak.
We talk a lot about Drew Gulak as a technical wizard, but that ignores the other side of his game. He is a brute, he is a bully, and he is a brawler. We are seeing all of that on display right now against DISangro.
Unquestionably, DISangro starting to fight back. He's had enough of being bullied in this match.
And DISangro backing up, affording him the opportunity to avoid one of Gulak's strikes, and now these two hitting each other right in the head. Face wash after face wash as Drew Gulak connects, floats over, and only one for Gulak. That's the fire. That is the heart of Luke DISangro emerging here.
No quit in DISangro. Fighting back against Gulak. Sending him back into the ropes. European uppercut rocks Gulak.
DISangro has put his entire sense of self on the line in this match. That's not something we advise, but certainly it's motivating this young man.
Oh, look at that momentum that DISangro generated. Off of the ropes, into that clothesline, dropping Gulak.
And now Gulak beats a retreat. When do you see Drew Gulak need to take a breather?
That has to be encouraging for DISangro as he heads to the apron. Gulak on the floor.
Last time Gulak had great success coming outside. And for the second time,
I think DISangro was going for a tornado flatliner there, and Gulak managed to counter, but still went down. DISangro the first one up. I think Gulak may have got the worst of that exchange.
Luke DISangro willing to throw his body into the fray with abandon. A man who is usually so tightly wound and technical is finding a second gear in this match, and now DISangro going up to the top.
What could it, the crowd chanting Monster Factory. Oh! And DISangro with the top rope clothesline into the cover. Gulak barely able to get the shoulder up.
Found Gulak directly into the center, immediately was able to work into that pinning predicament, but it did seem like DISangro slipped a little bit and wasn't able to get full momentum with that clothesline. That may have been the saving grace for Drew Gulak.
We got to think of everything these ropes have been through tonight. And this is only match number 3. Now Gulak is going to go up top, and this used to be Mr. No-Fly Zone, and he hit that same clothesline that DISangro just hit in a discus clothesline.
Basically repeating everything that DISangro has thrown at Gulak and doing it twice as hard.
Bomb! That's the move that put DISangro through the table, and he barely kicked out.
There was a radio appearance several weeks ago where Drew Gulak assaulted Twitch and put him through a table, and now he has repeated that same action, but instead of a table, he tried to drive him straight through the mat.
DISangro is out. I don't know how he managed to kick out of that. He's got to be running on pure adrenaline at this point.
There's only so much more DISangro is going to have in him. He's going to have to turn things around quickly or risk losing not only this match, but everything he has left in terms of his sense of confidence.
Oh, Gulak got crushed on the top rope. DISangro going to take advantage.
Great strikes there to the exposed head of Drew Gulak.
Got him perched on the top turnbuckle.
Gulak's not going to make it easy for DISangro to do whatever it is that he has planned here from the high rent district.
I think I see what he's going for. Can he get the stability? Yes, he can. Superplex right in the middle of the ring.
Gulak writhes in pain. Cover right now. Far leg hooked. But Gulak still continues to kick out with authority.
Unbelievable action here, Jason.
Pain etched on the face of the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion. This has the potential to be a defining victory for Luke DISangro if he is able to put away Drew Gulak.
Sensory overload attempt. He missed it. Gulak now with a Southern Lights suplex.
Catches him. Held the bridge and the cradle. That is the mastery of the craft that the king of Catchpoint displays.
Referee starting the 10 count. Can either man get back to his feet?
When it comes to wrestling, some men are playing checkers, some men are playing chess, and Drew Gulak is inventing a brand new game in front of our eyes.
Without a doubt, and you could see the rage in DISangro's eyes. This is a man possessed, a man obsessed with defeating Gulak here tonight.
But Gulak has just as much vigor and verve in those strikes as he did at the beginning, whereas DISangro seems to be struggling.
Dragon says is that the Gulak? In the middle. Well, that's not really the middle of the ring.
No, unfortunately, not as close to the middle as Gulak would like, but still very effective because there is really no way whatsoever for DISangro to get out of this hold.
He's got to get to those ropes. He's trying to pry Gulak off of him.
Looking for a weak spot. And spoke too soon. DISangro was able to get up and over into a cover.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody get out of the Gulak. And there is the Dragon's Breath. Knocked the daylights out of Gulak and almost got the 3.
So much of DISangro's arsenal has already been exposed. Is that Gulak's game plan to force DISangro to run through everything he has until he is empty with nothing left and then pick the bones?
Twitch was going for the nervous breakdown. Gulak had it scouted.
Pretty sure Twitch has been having a nervous breakdown for the last several weeks. The only way he's not going to.
We saw this at the beginning of the match. DISangro had it scouted this time.
DISangro learns you're not going to catch him the same way twice, especially not in the same match.
Sensory overload.
Comes from behind, knocks the base of the skull, and Luke DISangro gets the win.
He freaking did it.
ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout, Lucas DISangro.
If that's not a feather in your cap, I don't know what is, Jason. Lucas DISangro victorious in his last appearance in a Monster Factory ring.
Luke DISangro finally got the Gulak off his back, and in an extremely emotional night, Luke DISangro bids farewell to the Monster Factory with